Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Or is it a flying Dorito? We'll see just after this.
Seconds?
And greetings everybody, and welcome to another JeSter Reviews. And today we will be looking at the Lukari Ho'Kuun Science Vessel T6. Now, for most of you who recall my last video, I did show you the console that came with this ship, and I did promise that I would bring this ship to you for a review. So I thought, well, you know, give you a rest of all these premium ships and legendary ships. I thought I'd just bring you a general T6 ship, which I acquired through a Phoenix Epic token. Yes, this ship does look rather stealthy, doesn't it? Looks like one of those stealth bombers that we have. Looks like that codename Aurora that I've been reading about. Are we allowed to say that? Anyway, said it now. But yeah, the reason why I acquired this ship was for the console, and I think that's the Protomatter Deflector console, if memory serves me right. Let's have a quick look at that, shall we? Make sure I've got it right. Is that what it is? Yes, there you are. The Universal Protomatter Field Projector. And this will give you a plus 21.4 Starship hull restoration, improves hull healing, and a 21.4 Starship shield restoration, improves shield healing. And I have used this a lot in the past. And yeah, it's been a really good survival clicky. So yes, I'd highly recommend it. So if you do manage to get yourself an Epic token and you are at a loss as to what to spend it on, yeah, seriously consider picking up this ship. If not for what it looks like, but for the console. Well, let's have a quick look at her, shall we? Because we're going around and round already. She does look very stealthy, doesn't she? Especially with this ball shield on. Yeah. Very, very alien in concept, isn't she? Looks like one of those UFO type ships that you see in all these programs, you know, the triangular ones with the three dots on. I wonder if that's inspired the design of the ship. You don't know, do you? You can't tell. You know, who's to say it wasn't? So anyhow, there we go. So let's have a quick look at the statistics of this ship, shall we? At level 65, this ship has a hull of 42,300. It has a hull modifier of 0.94 and a shield modifier of 1.4. Her turn rate is 13.5 and she has an impulse of 0.16. The inertia rating on the ship is 55. She has a bonus power of plus 10 to shield power and plus 10 to auxiliary power. Her bridge officer seating is as follows. We have a Lieutenant Universal Station, a Lieutenant Tactical Station, we have a Lieutenant Commander Engineering Stroke Intel Station, a Commander Science Station, and a Lieutenant Science Station. So if you haven't already guessed, this ship is going to be orientated towards a science build. Her weapons consist of 3 weapons to the front and 3 weapons to the rear. She has 3 device slots and her consoles are as follows: 2 tactical, 4 engineering and 5 science. And let's not forget the secondary deflector. This ship comes from the Phoenix lockbox by acquiring an Epic token. Her abilities include Protomatter Field, Subsystem Targeting and Sensor Analysis. Her Admiralty cards consist of 42 Engineering, 20 Tactical and 64 Science. Now the deflector, Impulse, Warp and Shields, it's more or less standard with all of my builds nowadays. But moving on to the secondary deflector here, you can see this is a deteriorating secondary deflector. And for those of you who are not familiar, most science ships will have a secondary deflector. Now, I just want to make it clear that I am by no means a science expert. So I've had to do a little bit of research into this because I don't really normally deal with science builds. I'm not really up on them at all. But there are three types of deflector. You have inhibiting, deteriorating, and resonating deflectors. The deteriorating deflector, that normally enhances debuffing abilities. The inhibiting deflector enhances control abilities, and the resonating deflector that enhances support abilities. So it helps with heals and shields. I'm having trouble with my words today, aren't I? Anyhow, now in this particular case I'm running a deteriorating secondary deflector, and this is giving me a 6.4 projectile weapons damage. So technically speaking, I could put more torpedoes on this. I could make it a decent torpedo build really, and I think the deteriorating secondary deflector does support that kind of a build. Now, for those of you who are not aware, science builds normally focus on what we call exotic damage, which is damage other than beam builds or beam weapons, and that can include let's have a look, cold damage, radiation damage, electrical damage. Have I said radiation? Anyway, if I haven't, radiation damage. And as you can see in the example above, this is fire damage. And as science builds primarily rely on auxiliary power, just shut that down. As you can see here, I've set my power levels to give a maximum auxiliary power because I want to focus on this particular build on exotic abilities like tank and drift, subspace vortices, and many of the other science abilities. Now, as I say, I'm not a science expert, not by any stretch of the imagination, but there are quite a lot of YouTubers out there who do cover this subject. It's just something that, doesn't seem to appeal to me as yet. But, like with everything else, I might have a dabble with it, a serious dabble with it at some point in time, because obviously I would have to make some adjustments on the build, and I would also have to make some adjustments on duty officers and things. Okay, just one other thing I'd like to show you. Some of my fleet colleagues have mentioned that when you're building a science build, they tend to use temporal operative as a primary, and secondary, what was my secondary? Strategist. There we go, strategist as a secondary. So yeah, I've made that little amendment there, so we'll see how we go with that. So yeah, as I say, I'm not an expert in science builds, so if you do have any questions, please put them down below and I'll see if I can answer them. I just wanted to give you a brief overview of those skills and just a quick outline of what science builds are all about. Anyhow, let's move on quickly to looking at the traits, shall we? At tier 1, we have a plus 15% damage to exotic damage abilities. At tier 2, we have a plus 10% shield hit points. At tier 3, enhanced restorative circuitry. I won't tell you how many times I've done an outtake on that. It's been a dreadful one as this one. Anyhow, at tier 3 we have improves hull healing abilities by 10% and improves shield healing abilities by 10%. At tier 4 we have reactive shield technology, and that improves shield restoration and hardness by 872.7 shield regeneration every 6 seconds, 5% shield resistance. At tier 5 we have the trait Protomatter Capacitor. Right, let's have a quick look at that. Hitting an enemy with energy siphon, charge, particle burst or tachyon beam grants to self plus 32.7 shield regeneration for 15 seconds. Improved by Starship shield restoration skill. To self plus 32.14% hull regeneration for 15 seconds. Improved by Starship hull restoration skill. Not too keen on that, to be honest with you. It doesn't really give us much, does it? You know what I mean? It's anyway. Right, okay. Right, well, enough of my moaning. Let's have a quick look at the statistics of this ship. So we have a hull of 76,000. Yeah, that's it's a bit disappointing, isn't it? Shields, 33,614. The resists, yeah, I'm quite happy with them. Mid-40s, apart from the physical resist, 36.5. Accuracy rating, 74. Critical chance, 27%. Critical severity, 173.1. Now, I have droned on quite a lot, so I'm not going to go into all of these consoles today, although if you do want to know what any of them are, just drop me a line below and I'll be quite happy to share with you what these consoles are. The console that came with this ship, there it is, the Universal Protomatter Field Projector, and as I've said, this is a really good piece of kit, and it does come as part of a 4-piece set, which I've yet to find. So once I find where all those are, I'll let you know. I haven't done my homework on that, so you'll have to forgive me. Now, as promised, following my last review, I did say that I was going to try and bring you a quick review of consoles which I found useful in the past. And one of them is the Universal Dynamic Power Redistributor module, and you can acquire this from the Atlas, which is from I think it's from a lockbox. Now you can actually pick the Atlas up on the exchange, but it's now silly EC, to be honest with you. Yeah, I wouldn't. To be honest with you, I wouldn't pay the EC prices for that. If you do acquire one through a lockbox, well done, because the console from the Atlas is one of the best consoles in the game. Which leads me on nicely to one of my thoughts for 2022. And yeah, I am hoping, if Cryptic are listening, that they bring in a legendary ship bundle and consisting of the Atlas. And as they always bring out these bundles with other ships, I think could bring it out in conjunction with the legendary Paladin class temporal battle cruiser even, or legendary or the legendary Ranger temporal battle cruiser, which is also in the original STO skin. So that's my wish list, or one of my wish lists for 2022, is that they bring out a legendary bundle with the Atlas and the console, the Universal Power hang on, I've got it wrong again. The Universal Power... No, hang on. The Universal Dynamic Power Redistributor Module. That's a right mouthful, isn't it? Yeah, so that's one of my wish lists for 2022. And I think it would give everybody the opportunity of acquiring the Universal Dynamic Power Redistributor if they introduced a legendary Atlas ship and made it an account unlock, so you could claim it on all your characters. Right, so let's go have a look at the bridge, shall we? Well, here we are on the bridge of the Lukari Science Vessel. And as you can see, it's full of flora and fauna. Yes. This is my dog, Barkley. Yes. Takes after Mr. Broccoli, I'm afraid. Mr. Broccoli. Yes. I do actually have a dog called Barkley, but yes. This is Barkley, or Mr. Broccoli. Anyhow, now we've got to be careful here because I do realise that dogs do like flora and fauna. Let's have a quick look round. As you can see, we've got a tumble dry here. We must have washed these, so we tumble drying them. Yes, there we go. Over here again, look, more of this plant washing going on. And was that you? Would you kindly stop piddling on the bridge? Yes, I've been told by other captains this happens on this ship, so just behave yourself, Mr. Broccoli. Okay, moving on down here. I wonder if they all rotate. They are, they're all rotating. It's quite cool, really, isn't it? It's quite a cool design. Oh, excellent. There we go. Hello there, Mr. Romulan person. How are you finding these controls? Do you know what you're doing? Because I'm the foggiest looking at these. Well, you seem to know what you're doing. Sorry, you've been trained by the Lukari, have you? Ah, excellent. Excellent. Well, would you mind telling me what these plants are doing in these washing machines? They're not washing machines. What are they then? Air recycling units. Oh. There you go, Barkley. Air recycling units. What do you think of that then? Well, we know what Barkley, Mr. Broccoli here, feels about them. Yes, please don't do that. Right, moving on. Ah, Mr. Potato Head. Hello there, Mr. Potato Head. We've got a right vegetarian thing going on here. We've got Mr. Broccoli here and Mr. Potato Head. So broccoli and potatoes. Got a right vegetarian theme going on here. What do you think of these plants then, Mr. Potato Head? You don't much care for them. Really? I think they look alright. They make it look a bit feng shui in here. Feng shui. It's never mind. Ah, here we go. Now they're ensign and ensign lamb. Ensign lamb. Broccoli, potato, lamb. Yeah, I think there's a meal theme going on here, isn't there? Anyway, right. Well, yeah, forgive Mr. Broccoli here. Barkley here. Yes, he likes plants. Yes. Well, I do hope you're going to clean that up, Mr. Broccoli. Well, you're not going to be able to, are you? No, I'm going to have to do that at some point. Right, so here we go. Here we have the duty officers, library files, and access to the bank. Let's have a quick look around here. I mean, we have done another review of the other T5U Lukari ship, and it's more or less exactly the same. We've got this fan thing going on up here. You've got this. Yes, Barkley, will you kindly stop doing that? It's most off-putting. And we've got these screens here, which I've no idea what they do. They don't do anything special, do they? No, they don't. And I do like this effect here, steam coming out of these vents. That's quite a cool touch, isn't it? It's really cool. Steam up there as well, look. Well, it's either that or we've got a leak. Yes, talking of leaks, I think we better get you back to my quarters, because yeah, there's going to be quite a few complaints here. I know there's quite a few puddles, so we better get these sorted out. Right, so we've seen the outside, and we've had a quick look round the inside. Oh, just one other thing, you can't actually get off this bridge. We'll have a go. Don't think you can. No, you can't. No, you can't. Right, so there we go. So what we'll do now is we'll take her into battle and see how she performs, shall we? So here we go. Let's have a go at the Borg, shall we? And yeah, Barclay, get over here before you're assimilated. Yes, it's difficult really with exotic damage, and I must admit I did mess up there with some of the exotic damage because I didn't link them to my keyboard very well. But she did survive, which is really, really cool. She did give a good account of herself, and I think with a little bit more thought, I think we could make her into a really, really good science vessel. Well, there you go. I hope you've enjoyed that review. She did do well, didn't she? Yeah, I was pleased. If anything, it was my fault for not linking the correct keys to the correct exotic weapons consoles, really. But yeah, I did manage to get a few bits and pieces in there. But yeah, a little bit more work on this ship, and I think she can make a reasonably good science build. I do realise that it's a little bit of an anti-climax compared to some of the legendary ships and the premium ships that we've been looking at over the last few months, but for some of our newer players who, if you happen upon an epic token and you're at a loss as to what to do with it, well, this is a reasonably good idea of what to use it on, especially considering it's got a reasonably good console as well. And yeah, please don't forget, if you haven't already done so, can you do the old subscribe thing for me? Hit the subscribe button and give us a like as well, as that'll make my day. Anyhow, I hope you're all keeping safe, and until next time, this is JeSter signing off. Barclay, what on earth have you been drinking?